Hey, it's Coach Reese. Today we're going to write equations of parabolas. We're going to start out reviewing some things we've done in the past just to make sure we're okay, and then we're going to move forward, okay? The first thing we're going to ask you to do is we're going to ask you to convert from vertex to standard form. And when we do this, we're going to ask you to start right there with that parentheses. And we're going to ask you to FOIL that or box that. But when you multiply that together, you should end up with x squared minus 8x plus 16. Okay? We're going to bring down the parentheses. We're going to bring down our negative 2 and our plus 5. And we're going to ask you to distribute. And then we're going to distribute the negative 2, and we're going to go negative 2 times x squared is a negative 2x squared. Negative 2 times negative 8 is a positive 16x. Negative 2 times 16 is a negative 32. Don't forget your plus 5. So we're going to bring down our y equals to finish this out, and we're going to say negative 2x squared plus 16x. Negative 32 plus 5 is a minus 7 or a negative 7. There we go. This is what we've done in the past. Just a quick refresher of what we can do. Okay? What if we ask you to go from standard form to vertex form? We did this on the other day, just previous on the other day, is when we asked you to do this, we had to complete the square. Okay? So I want you to look at this. This is what we call general conic section or form, general conic form, not standard form. Okay? We have a y and we have an x, but the x, there's only one x and it's not squared. So that's the variable that we want to isolate. So we're going to move the y squared to the other side, this y to the other side, and the 82. We're going to move everything to the other side. And this will give us x equals a positive 3y squared plus 30y plus 82. Now I'm going to ask you to complete the square. And you know I do things just a little bit different. We're going to do this using the bounce method, okay? So we're going to ask you to ignore the x equals for just a little bit, and we're going to use it a little later. So we're going to hold off. We're going to bring that x equals back in at the very end. But we're going to add an equal sign here, and we're going to ask you to move the 82 to the other side. We're going to go minus 82, minus 82. This will give us 3y squared plus 30y plus blank equals a negative 82 plus blank. Okay? So we're going to ask you to do this, and we need to get the 3 away from the y squared. So we're going to factor a 3 away, and we're going to take out the 3, and that's going to give me y squared plus 10y plus blank equals a negative 82 plus blank. So here's my rule. Here's the rule we do this. If you're going to factor a number out, you're going to have to end up bouncing. Okay? So you keep the 3 coming down. Keep this outside 3. And then we're going to have to go start it as y. And I'm going to ask you to take half of your b value. Just like we did in the past. Take half of b, which would be a 5. And then we're going to ask you to square it. 5 times 5 is 25. But here comes that bounce thing. All right, don't write the 25 over here. You have to remember to bounce the 3 into the 25. We have to multiply them together and get 75. Okay? Now we do some math. And we say negative 82 plus 75 is a negative 7. We are almost done. Remember, I told you that x equals about to come in, okay? So we're going to say plus 7 plus 7. We've got to bring this back over. And we're going to say that x equals 3, plus 5 squared plus 7. There's my graph, or just my equation in vertex form. You know, we've done this in the fall, so you're okay. This should be just a little refresher. Next, we're going to ask you to write the equation. We're going to give you the vertex and a point that is on the graph, okay? We have a couple of choices. This one is going to open up and down. So this is going to start with y equals. Now, to write these parabola equations, we need to find two things. You got to have the vertex, and you need to find the a value. If you have the vertex and the a value, we're going to be fine, okay? So they give us the vertex, but they don't give us the a value. So we're going to start out, and we're going to say that y equals, I do not know my a value. That's the unknown. I'm going to substitute in what they gave me. I'm going to go to my vertex, and we're going to say x plus 1 squared plus 8. So I've got a good jump on finishing my equation. I just need to find the a value. How do you find the a value? Well, we're going to go through this point, and we're going to substitute in this x value and that y value. That means a will be the only unknown variable, and we can solve for a. So let's substitute in a 32 where the y is. Here's my a. I don't know my a. We're going to substitute in our 1 value for the x, and we're going to say plus 8. Now, some people, sometimes we get in a hurry and we may do the wrong thing with this 8. Okay, so we're going to move it to the other side so don't we make a careless mistake in just a second. So what I'm going to ask you to do is move this 8 to the other side, minus 8, minus 8. I'm going to get 24 equals a. Do a little math here. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 squared is 4. Now I want to get my a by itself, so we're going to divide by 4. And we're going to find out that 6 equals a. My a value is 6. So we're going to go back up, and instead of writing an a, we're going to erase the a, and we're going to put our 6. There's our a value. And so there's my equation. Simple enough. You need to find the vertex and find the a value, and you're okay. All right? Now we're going to try one that opens up left and right. So instead of going y equals, this one's going to be x equals. Okay? So we're going to say that x equals, excuse me, slow down, a, don't know my a value, y, let's substitute in, okay, be careful what you substitute, how you substitute in your vertex. We're going to say plus 8 plus 9, okay, so we've got a good start. Again, they gave us a point that's on the graph, so we're going to substitute this in. This is my x value. This is my y value. We're going to substitute those in and solve for a. So x is 18. Here's our a. My y value is negative 11 plus 8 plus 9. We're going to move the 9 to get it out of the way. Minus 9, minus 9. This is going to leave me with 9 equals, do some math, but I have an a here. Negative 11 plus 8 is a negative 3. Negative 3 squared is a positive 9. So we're going to divide by 9. And we're going to find out that a equals 1. So here's the thing. You have the option, okay? You can write the 1, or we understand and we know that there's a little invisible 1 sitting there. So you don't have to actually put the 1 there if you don't want to, because most people will not. And so there's my final answer right there. Okay? Now these are 4 examples of things we've done in the past. So now we're going to move forward and go with the new things. Okay? All right, so always remember to write these equations, you need to have the vertex and the a value. Okay? All right, so they're going to give us the vertex, but then they're going to give us a focus. And they're going to show us that what we're going to need to find the a value. Got a little equation to find the a value. Okay? All right, so it says, look, we need to determine, is my graph going to open up and down, or left or right? All right? It says the variable that is changing determines the direction of the opening. Okay, so what's changing? Well, look, the negative ones are in the y spot. They're staying the same. These are the variables that are changing. Okay, that x spot is changing. So that means my graph will either be opening to the left or to the right. I'm not sure just yet, but I do know it's going to be x equals. So we're going to start out our problem, and we're going to say that x equals, I do not know my a value, but they did give me my vertex. So we're going to substitute in the vertex. And this is going to be y, and then we're going to say plus 1 squared plus 2. So we're well on our way. But we need to find the a value. To do this, we're going to use this equation. And this equation says a equals 1 over 4 times p. And if you remember on the other worksheet, p is the distance between the vertex and the focus. So the distance from here to here, that's going to be my p value. So we need to figure out how far it is from 2 to 5 over 4. And so what we're going to do is we're going to subtract to find the difference. Okay? So we're going to say 2 over 1 minus 5 over 4. Okay? Now, we need to get a common denominator, so we're going to multiply the bottom times 4, we're going to multiply the top times 4, and we're going to get 8 over 4. 8 minus 5 is going to be 3 over 4. No matter what, remember now, we're trying to find the distance, and distance is always positive. So don't get hung up on a negative number here if it happens. Distance is always positive. All right, so here we have this. Remember we did one of these the other day to find the focus and the directrix. But the formula is just a little bit different. So we're going to say that a equals 1 over 4 times 3/4. Now you remember when this happened the other day, we said, oh, that's kind of confusing. If we have a value that is a fraction, the way we're going to do this is we're going to say that a equals 1 over 4. Instead of taking the fraction down, we're going to multiply times the reciprocal. Now the 4's are going to cancel, and I get a equals 1/3. So my a value is 1/3. So we'll come over here and replace it. And we say that a is 1/3. But I still don't know if my graph is going to open up to the left or if my graph is going to open up to the right. And the easiest way for me to do this is I sketch a quick picture. Okay? Look at a little small little graph to look at it because I'm a visual person. There's my y. There's my x. All right, so my vertex, look where my vertex is at. 2, -1. 1, 2, -1. Okay? That's my vertex. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to find my focus. I'm going to find this point. And it is at 5 over 4, which is equivalent to 1 1/4 or 1.25. So we're going to go to 1 1/4 or 1.25. And that's going to be to the left of it. The graph, the vertex, all right, opens up. And the focus is always inside the curve of the parabola. So since we're curving around the focus, that means we're going to open up to the left, which means I need to have a negative because we're opening up towards the negative numbers. Okay? And there's our final answer. Remember, you have to have the vertex and the a value. Let's try another one. This time they give us the vertex and the directrix. Okay? Read what they tell you. That the directrix equation, my directrix equation, starts the same as the parabola equation. So this is x equals, so my final equation will be x equals. So we're going to say that x equals, I'm going to use my vertex. I do not know my a value, but we're going to substitute in the vertex numbers, and we're going to say plus 1 squared minus 2. There's our start. But we need to find the a value. And if you remember, here's our equation to find our a value, but we don't know the p, which is the distance from the vertex to the focus, or from the vertex to the directrix. Okay, the vertex is in the middle. So that distance is going to be the same either way. So we need to find out how far it is from the vertex to the directrix. So we're talking about the x value, so we're going to compare this x value. And we need to know how far apart those two things are. So we're going to say negative 2 over 1 minus 7 over 4. We need to get a common denominator. So we're going to multiply times 4, and I'm going to get negative 8 over 4. If you'd like, you can go plus a negative. You're going to get negative 15 over 4. That's your p-value. But remember, that p-value is a distance, and it is always, always positive. Distance is positive. So I'm not sure if my a value is going to be positive or negative. So I'm just going to say, hey, distance is always positive. Okay? Now, so we're going to substitute this in, and we're going to say that a equals 1 over 4. This is a fraction, so we're going to say times 4 over 15. The 4's cancel, and we find out that a equals 1 over 15. So my a value is 1 over 15. Let's write this in. 1 over 15. But again, I don't know if my graph is going to open up to the left or to the right, so we're going to sketch a quick picture to make sure. So, there's my y-axis. Here's my x-axis. My vertex is at negative 2, negative 1. There's my vertex. Okay? We're going to graph our directrix. It's 7 over 4. That's a positive 1 3/4 or 1.75. It crosses the x-axis. So I have a directrix somewhere in here. The graph always opens away from the directrix. Here's my directrix. My graph always opens away from it. So it's going to open up to the negative numbers. So this makes this a negative 115. And there's my final answer. Okay? All right, let's try another one. This time they're giving us the focus and the directrix. They didn't even give us the vertex. They didn't give us the vertex or the a value, so we're going to have to find them both. Okay? So here's what I want you to remember. The vertex is in the middle. It's equal distance to the focus. It's equal distance to the directrix. So we need to find that vertex, which is directly in the middle. Look what's changing, okay? The y spot, that's a y. See, y? This y spot is changing. The x is staying the same. So we're going to say my vertex has to have an x value of 6 because the y values are changing. We need to find what's in between those, what's in the middle. There's two ways to do this. You can find out how far apart they are and then divide by 2. Or you can add them together to find and divide by 2 to find the midpoint. Most people were taught they could say negative 31 plus a negative 25 is going to give us a negative 56 divided by 2 equals a negative 28. This is going to be in the middle, okay? And we say our vertex is going to be at 6, negative 28 over 4. But you guys are pretty smart. And you're going to say, Coach, do I leave it as a fraction, even though I know it's going to be a solid number? No, I'm going to ask you to divide 28 by 4, and I want you to write your vertex as negative 7. Okay? Now, remember what we said on the previous equation. The directrix equation starts the same as the parabola equation. This starts at y equals, so my equation will be y equals. So we're going to ask you to start this at y equals, we do not know the a value. We're going to substitute in the vertex. We're going to say that x minus 6 squared minus 7. So we're off to a good start. But we need to find the a value. To find the a value, we're going to have to find p. So remember, a equals 1 over 4 times p. What is p? P is the distance from the vertex to the focus, or from the vertex to the directrix. I need to find out how far that is. And remember, distance is always positive. So how far is it from 31 to 28? You're going to say, Coach, that's 3. And that's my p-value. Just find out how far it is from the vertex to the directrix, the focus, or from the vertex to the directrix. It's going to be 3 over 4. How do you find your a value? A equals 1 over 4, but since my p-value is a fraction, we're going to multiply times the reciprocal. The 3's cancel, and I get a equals 1/3. So we're over here, and we're going to take away the a, and we're going to say that a is 1/3. But we have to determine which way my graph is going to open. This says y equals. Is it going to open upward or is it going to open downward? So again, I'm going to ask you to sketch a picture with me. All right. There's my y-axis. There's my x-axis. All right, my vertex is at 6, negative 7, 6, negative 7 is down here. Okay, there's my 6, okay? My directrix is y equals 25 over 4. This is going to be the equivalent. We can put this in the calculator. This is going to come out to be negative 6 1/4 or negative 6.25. Okay? This is going to cross the y-axis. So this is going to be right here, but it doesn't go all the way down to 7. It doesn't go all the way down to 7 where the vertex is, and the vertex always, the parabola always opens away from the directrix. So this means we're going to open downward, and so I should put a negative in front. And there's our answer. Okay? All right, I got one more for you. And we did something like this in the fall. Okay? We're going to have to set up a system of equations. And there's going to be 3 variables. So we need 3 equations. We're going to use our calculator. Okay? We need to be careful. But this one is going to tell us that this opens up and down. Okay? If it opened up left and right, you need to watch how you substitute these in, because it's going to be in a reverse order. Okay? But in this one, we're going to say, this is an x, this is a y. This is an x, this is a y. This is an x, this is a y. Okay? So we're going to substitute this into our equation. And we're going to say my y value, we're going to take it 1 parenthesis at a time. And so we're going to say that negative 4 equals, my x value is 8. We need to square the x. So 8 times 8 is 64. That's going to give me a 64a. And then we're going to go, my x value is still 8, so we're going to go 8 times b is 8b plus c. We do not not mess with the c because we don't have anything that will mess with it at all, okay? Then we go to the next ordered pair. My y value is -7. We square the x and we get 81a. We take it and multiply times b, we get 9b plus c. We go to the third parentheses. My y value is 1. We square the x and we get 169a plus 13b plus c. This is how we set up our equations, one parentheses at a time. But we're going to use our calculator. And it's always easier, I don't know if you remember this or not, but it's easier. We're going to change all these to x's. Oh, they didn't come out very clean. I would prefer that to be a little bit thinner, okay? And these change these to y's. And this to z. So you're going to put those into your calculator. So we're going to our calculator, and I've got this started for us. We're going to go to calculate. We're going to go menu. We're going to go algebra. We're going to go to systems of linear equations. We need to change this to 3 equations. And when we do this, that's going to change us to x, y, and z. That's when we change your ABC to x, y, z. Okay? We're okay. We're going to input our 3 equations. We're going to say that -4 equals 64x plus 8y plus z. There's my first equation. Okay? In my second equation, we're going to say -7 equals 81x plus 9y plus z. Just to make sure we hit the right buttons. And then my last equation is going to be 1 equals 169x plus 13y plus z. I'm going to check them before I hit enter. And we're going to hit enter. And I get those 3 numbers, okay? What are those 3 numbers? This is my A value, this is my B value, this is my C value. So we're going to put those back into an equation of what? Y equals AX squared plus BX plus C. All we do is we take the A, put it where the A is, the B, put it where the B is, so the C, put it where the C is, okay? So we're going to say that y equals x squared. Now we don't have to put the 1 there, it's invisible. Minus 20x plus 92. There's your answer, okay? We did this in the fall, so that should be just a refresher, all right? Be careful when you have one that opens up left and right. You have to swap out your x and y's the way you substitute them in, okay? Remember, you have to have your vertex and you have to have an a value to write these equations for these parabolas, okay? I know it's going to be a little bit tricky, but take it one step at a time. And remember, we're always here for you if you get stuck. Good luck.